Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with another mod stream. Today, I'm going to be working on my Mapcrap submission, the Crapitol. I've done a little bit of work since my last stream, so we'll familiarize ourselves with that now. Obviously, I've been documenting the progress that I've been able to make, and I hope that by doing so, I'll be able to get a better feel for where I want to go next and what some of the things are looking like. What's up, V? So, our very first screenshot is obviously just the map canvas. Starts to take shape in the very first stream that I did back on the 4th of June. And this is where we got some of the water down, figured out where the start locations were going to be. We started developing the concept of the map. Next day, I was able to get a pretty decent amount of work done on the whole southern area. This is on a less than a 2-hour stream I conducted on the 5th of June, where I worked on the starting location for the player's force. And that has continued to take shape since then. Yesterday I did some tile work, some detailing that was not on stream, so we'll just go back and forth here a little bit. You'll notice that one of the things that I ended up doing here was actually cleaning up the overall layout of the coastal asphalt cliffs, make them a little bit less ridiculous, a little bit less all over the place, and now they feel, I think, a little bit better overall. And aside from that, it was like adding details, adding that expansion in the bottom left, and overall making this map feel a little bit more close to feature complete, I guess you could say. After that, this is what I did this morning. Not really a massive amount of work. It's mostly, getting some more details done, adding some more tiles, and starting to lay the land up for the center of the map. And I guess following that, yeah, it's just detailing. So that's where we end up, and that's where we are right now. I did not end up streaming, no, but I did, like I said earlier, make some progress with some details and stuff. I closed up this area with the doodads, and otherwise just started trying to solidify something of the map's thematic, we could say, down here. I want this area to feel kind of rugged and natural, and, I got, like, the mushrooms and stuff. I got the geyser doodads and whatnot. I haven't placed any crevices yet, but it's obviously something we can do a little bit later on. And beyond that, I did do a little bit of work today on adding some new structure center tiles to the tile set, so that we have a little bit more variety. And I also re-indexed them to be a little bit less noisy, because they were getting screwed over by the palette before we came up with that solution, before DF discovered the solution to that, to making them a little bit more color accurate. And I also just wanted to add more variety there, so that we needed to rely a little bit less on some of the other tiles that were less fitting. And I also took the tiles that actually have pathing issues, like the tiles that are actually impathable. I removed those from the center tiles and moved them over into unbuildable doodads. So they're still in the game, in the tile set for people to make use of. But they actually do require you to place them by choice, as you can see here. So, great. I don't even know why they were put into the regular tile set in the first place. I understand Blizzard didn't intend to make structure buildable, but they still could have done, with not doing what they ended up doing, is what I'll say there. So, as I aim to complete the circuit over here, I will talk a little bit about what reviewing the aforementioned screenshots and progress reports, I guess you could say, has made me think about. I definitely feel like we are currently lacking in shape for the central player. And obviously I did want to try my hand at putting an expansion down in this area to the right of that player's start location. And yeah, structure like temple was originally not buildable. I was originally planning on throwing an expansion over here. I still think I will. The question is, well, I don't know if this green player will attempt to secure it, because that wouldn't really be a tactically wise decision, considering it's probably better for them to take expansions that are like on their height level or whatever. But it is something that I've been thinking about. And I kind of wonder if maybe it's not better to skip over the center for the time being and then start doing detailing and figuring out the layout for the miners themselves. I feel like maybe that would help us out with our attempts to just see what's going on in that respect. We're going to be operating on some serious levels of abstraction here because we're going to have to, like, everything that's on the low ground is meant to be high ground, and then this high ground over here is meant to be higher ground, and then there's going to be some low ground that's going to be another layer up from that. So just add some negative space and some borders around some expansions that I'll no doubt end up placing. So, yeah, holy moly. There is like one tile in the entire game that is buildable by mistake that people are using for remastered tiles, yeah. And that's why it's always the same tile, and it looks ugly as fuck, because they have no other tile that is buildable. I don't remember which tile it is, but I'm pretty sure it was just like, it might as well be a bug that it was buildable in the first place. So, them's the breaks when you're working with not tile set editing. Fucking pranksters. Yeah, imagine. I don't think they will, but it would be pretty, like, as much as it would suck, it would also be pretty fucking funny. That's all I'll say there. So one advantage to us actually wanting to do some work with the central base over here is it will help us start to use those urban tiles that DF made, right? So I'm not blind to that being a thing, but it is still something that I'm not 100% sure about just yet. This kind of feels like the natural place where the yellow player would be, but I don't know. What death did you end up using for the randomized start locations? I think you did mineral field type 2 or something. Or was it 3 for 3? And I need to do it for just any player, right? Why does it need to be every player? Jesus. Well, you said it doesn't work currently anyway, because you still need to figure out how to change it for the for other cases. The scoreboard I don't think will ever be fixed, but obviously minimap is pretty important. I made a somewhat interesting discovery just recently working with these tiles, which is that if you have these center tiles that are meant to be these central pieces, right? And if you don't have this little gap here between the two types, they basically, like the SEM draft or whatever is running the rectangular setting, just treats them all with equal levels of priority, we'll say. But if you put that gap there, everything to the right is less frequent, which is actually quite important to use for obvious reasons, so that we don't have like tiles that are meant to be a little bit more rare showing up every single time. So makes sense to me. Oh, it's the other way around. It's in-game and scoreboard, but it doesn't change the units. Or it's minimap and scoreboard, but it doesn't change the units in-game. And it's not one of the... Does it change it for future units, but not currently trained units? Or is it not affecting anything at all? I don't know how aggressively you've tested it. Because the latter behavior, if it's doing it for some but not others or whatever, is... wouldn't actually surprise me, but if it's not happening for anything, then I guess we need to find out what specifically controls that. Doesn't quite seem right, but hopefully it's easy enough to resolve. I mean, we do indeed have bigger issues anyway, but I suppose it's something that would make sense to investigate. Simplifying this a little bit. I think it'll work out overall. I actually have a feeling we won't be using structure for blending with the high dirt, at least not in all cases. Particularly since we are pretty low on tile groups right now for this. This tile set. But I'll fill this in for now, and we'll see what we change it to. The other thing I was thinking about recently is that obviously I did say earlier, I think it was yesterday, or not yesterday, but 2 days ago, when I did my last Mapcraft development stream, I was thinking about ways to instantly let the player know that there are some new tiles here and that they can expect some new things. Is that basically they're going to have to walk up and find them themselves, but you know, making sure it's not exactly out of reach. So I was kind of thinking that I wanted I was thinking maybe making this into like a terrarium style thing where there's a lot of nature going on over here. I have stacked structure and stuff, so I guess I'll need to go get that because I don't think that's in this. Yeah, by my count it is not. I don't know if it's even added to this tile set, actually. I hope it is. And in fact, I believe it is because I used it at some point. I just found it. So we'll go ahead and slap that over there. Glad I came up with the idea to slap in a placeholder thing so that we could keep the rows aligned, even if things are out of order from south to north. It's going to be massively useful going forward. Just a shame that I can't update all of them to use this method without manually replacing everything. But I suppose such is life. It's all temporary anyway. Eventually we'll have our own everything. And at such a point, we can tell campfire stories to our children about how once upon a time we didn't even have source access to the editor, let alone the game. And they'll say, wow, that's the equivalent of having to walk uphill both ways in the snow. This get to school. And we'll say, damn right it is. Damn right it was. I'll get there eventually in my scrolling journey. There, found him. There we go. I suppose I can do the doodad as well. Or can I? Did I even place cliff doodads? Or add them? Doesn't look like it. At least I can't find them. I did have a really bad habit of just, adding these tiles willy-nilly in various places. I'll say it's not my finest work. All right. Let's go ahead and save our lovely progress. On the map and on the brush palette. So obviously, if I don't have the ramps handy, I won't be able to add them there, but that will eventually be a ramp complex. Not sure how that's going to morph some of these engagements, but theoretically there will be maybe a base along this left side that can be contested, but still moved around. Interesting. Don't suppose it'll remember my minimizations when I reopen this between sessions. Looks like my center tiles indeed are still acting up in some cases. I'm going to have to re-render them. Won't take too long. Not actually sure what I'll do about that yet. You know what, Balathal? You would be surprised. But I actually watched Winnie the Pooh on VHS as a kid. Oh, I should double check the height values here. I had a feeling I goofed. Interesting. It looks like I pranked myself? Question mark. I'm guessing I uploaded or added the tiles to some other section. I remember I uploaded the urban tiles in 2 different areas, but I don't remember exactly where. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe all the urban stuff went up in the same area. I swore I had done some somewhere. But it's all so hazy now. I'm almost certain I have an actual copy of the tile somewhere. Oh, I do. Right here. There we go. Yeah, there's some blending issues on the sides, but obviously without these tiles, structure's a lot more limited. So I put together the grass ones with DF's Photoshop document, and aside from that, been working on some other stuff. Owned. Yeah, I was hopeful for some sort of update to Temple, but not sure how soon that'll come. Oh, I just owned myself, to be honest. Wonder how I managed to miss that little detail. I'm still adjusting, okay? I was also wondering what I was doing, so... there are some blends that actually end inside the structure, but because of tile set limitations, like size of tile set or whatever, it's I feel it's pretty slim chance that we end up getting that resolved. We'll see though. I might be able to squeeze it in somewhere. You doing any map crapping yourself, Bethreelithal? Or are you sitting this one out? Ah, shit. Well, hopefully you're getting better now. There's still time if you decide, but... if you're still recovering, I understand. It makes sense. I did see that you ended up updating some stuff. Should be nice in the event that we... well, it's always good to have more options during game events and stuff. And there are always the occasional unplanned impromptu game that people run, so... You are the reigning champion, but I suppose you can't lose if you don't participate, so there is always that. Which reminds me that I was supposed to unpink you earlier, but so far I have elected to not do that just yet. I have to give you a little bit extra time as pink because I took so long to actually do it in the first place. Forgot about it. Can't have that. Admittedly, I did suck. But at least I was punished for sucking. Because I'm pretty sure I sucked on all maps. And, you know, just got away with it. As I sometimes do. Yeah, that fucking Pazuzu horde motherfucker really took me by surprise, I'll say that much. Could have been smaller, but I suppose the idea was that it was meant to facilitate larger scale gameplay. Even though it was only a couple players. Though by contrast, there were a few maps that felt claustrophobic, like mine, although that was the intention in many ways. Good to know that's even possible. You know, I guess I could import a version of this stuff that would be on the low ground as well if I ever wanted to toss them in somewhere, but I don't know. I think I'm actually off center here. Okay. Yeah, getting used to this is going to be interesting. It's too bad that we already are running into that limit and have been for a while for tile set groups, because it would definitely be nice to not have to worry about that overhead as well as everything else. Oh, why you do this to me? Me? Yeah, of course. Only makes sense. Okay. Let's go hunting. Used to name all these, but not much of a point when you can just look at them. Hmm. Sure, I'll scroll past him. shortly. Aha. I was wondering if Basilica wouldn't fit better, but the problem with that is the lighting. Bit messy. Can't believe they just mirrored the text. So lazy. DF and I have a term for that. It's called lard mirroring. Don't you forget it. Honestly, it's pretty unbelievable that this game is even in the state that it's in. I want tiki torches. Totem tiki men. I want them to greet the player as they walk in. Hello. You have been awoken. I'll just have one tiki man. I forget what those are called, but they're like Easter Island statues or something. You think they're called tiki men? Okay, that's what they're called now. Welcome to my tiki man. Home of the tiki men. I imagine they would have unnaturally deep voices if they spoke. I feel like The first time I saw those was in like Crash Bandicoot or something. But that's because like there's like a racial stereotype Jamaican voice that just voice acts as like this tiki guy that is your extra life or something if you get hit. And so he goes, "Wahoo!" as you fly around at supersonic speeds. I'm not sure, maybe I'm confusing multiple games, but I'm pretty sure that was in Crash Bandicoot. Either way, that was a good Tiki Man. And now his legacy lives on in my Mapcraft map. I'll have a location. When you walk over it, you'll hear, "Wahoo!" Oh. Apparently my grass, structure is not unbuildable. At least not the higher ones. Yeah. That's what he says. He goes, "Wahoo!" Not to be confused with that fucking lunatic Arnold Schwarzenegger. But he goes, "Wahoo! Wahoo!" That's what he says. Nah, I think that roughly translates to "get to the chopper" in Schwarzenegger. That motherfucker's crazy ass language. Yeah, it translates to that in Terminator. in the Terminator language. There we go. Got ourselves a base that you can easily just choose to ignore. I kind of like, okay, one of the things that I really like, right? And forgive me for I'm about to sound like a real estate agent, okay? But I really like the open floor plan idea for some of these urban environments or just artificial environments where you just walk in and there's a fucking base and there's not really like there's some cover, but there's not that much cover, right? We're kind of leveraging some miscellaneous shit to our advantage here. You just walk in and there's a base, right? There's no ramp. There is no fuck it, like you're in. So I think you used thematically or appropriately, I think that can work quite well, actually. What's up, Alexander? Welcome. I wanted to use some doodads. I wanted to plant a tree. Sir, permission requested to plant a tree. Permission granted. Not that tree, though. It's stupid. Plant me a dead tree. There we go. Where you have to wonder what the fuck you're even planting the tree for, because it's dead. How does this make any sense? What's up, Kraken? Will I someday continue the inconsummate campaign? I feel like that I don't know that I'll be actually making the sequel, which I had written out and planned. But I can probably find use for the characters from the campaign. So you might see them in some formal project somewhere else, but I'm not sure. By the same metric, it's everything about that campaign feels like a relic of ancient times compared to what we can do now, what I've been doing now. The level of polish and ambition, even, that my work has is significantly increased. So, I can't make any promises, but there is still some stories to be told there. I just haven't figured out exactly how I want to tell them yet. And whether it makes sense to do so in this context. I need to figure out if this is medium or not. Oh, appears to be. I'll take that. The latest patch was a while ago. You keep reporting bugs, but you don't actually give me any steps to reproduce them, and nobody else is able to replicate them. So sorry to say, but I'm not sure how useful it'll be. Yeah, I don't think there's any point to redoing in Consummate. The story wasn't really that spectacular. If I want to do something now, I'll just do something from scratch. But whether or not I continue to do work on the, the projects or whatever, that's still an open question. Because remember, I did already do a few attempts of updating the project or remaking it or whatever, but it never wound up feeling all that great, to be honest. I'm sure it's possible to retrofit the project into something that ends up being better, but at least presently it's hard for me to come up with a useful element of it. I think there are stories I would rather tell. Oops. Yeah, the main idea behind the rebrand was to get something that we could really stand behind, so to speak, for the foreseeable future. We might have a subtitle. I don't know. Once we have our full game out unlock or whatever. See how hopeful I can be over here. Looks like these will unite. Suppose that is fine. And there we go. Yeah, so these tiles that are sort of the things I was talking about earlier, where we have these inner tiles for blending. But I'm not yet certain if I'll have space in the tile set for adding the other ones, or if I want to reserve that for something that might be more vital. As it stands, I'm going to have to figure out how I want to transition from the structure to the high dirt mountain area for the miners up top. Yeah. Always a dull moment there. That's what I'll say. There was that one guy who suggested that I go towards a different subreddit, which, of course, had hilarious consequences upon arrival. Interesting. Oh, we can't have that, can we? Pretty sure you'd still get stuck somehow. All right. Hello, Lexecutumber. Welcome. I have no idea how to say that name, but welcome all the same. I posted one to the real-time strategy subreddit where one guy said it looked like a scam game because I didn't specify it was a mod, even though I obviously do on the front page in like the opening line. And otherwise, I don't think I got any feedback. That was the hot button issue of the time. Pretty goofy. Executumber. Tumor? Like tomb, like a crypt. I think I've heard the verb tumor, which is like to literally to entomb someone. Like entomber, I think I've seen. There you go. Hopefully I said it right. Oh, okay. So it would be executumber. See, I thought you were being overly fancy with a silent B, but that was just me. And our neighborly truck. Surprisingly small amount of motorcycles recently. Wouldn't have expected that. Okay. Time to get this side of things taken care of. This is where I can demonstrate my unhealthy familiarity with every single tile. Ah, shit, I have a doodad over here. It's okay, I can get around that. I'm clever. I know what I'm doing here. They never expected me to circumvent it in such a manner. What is this? Oh, these are all the same by the looks of things. At least these two. Yeah, a surprising number of people worldwide fail the literacy check. Particularly when joining the server. I want to say it's less than 50% of people actually fill out the form. Although, admittedly, some of that percentage is are people who join the server, see that it would actually require them to fill out a form, and then just immediately leave. I count them too. I'm not really sure there is a newbie tutorial for editing voices, because it's like audio engineering, right? I mean, it's not an insanely difficult concept to grasp. My starter guide for modding goes into that via text, which handles it does briefly touch on editing audio. If I were to, yeah, here we go. So I talk about using Audition 1.5, which is what I use, and I show some presets or whatever, and use it to add like an echo effect to a specific unit. But if you're trying to do something more involved, then you're probably going to need to experiment with a lot of the different effects. It's not going to be an overnight thing. It's definitely something you're going to need to be take as fast as you want to, but know that it's going to take a while. But actually changing the files in the, like, say you were in possession of some unit responses or something that you wanted to change. Like, say you wanted to, you had your own unit responses somewhere, or you, like, what I did with the original heroes was I actually took lines from the campaign and I found lines that would fit a set of unit responses and I made them. And they are linked somewhere. I don't remember exactly where, but I think they're in the resources section of the Wikidot at somewhere. And basically they would be in audio campaign hero unit responses. So I have them for Aldaris, Dugal, Mengsk, Rashigal, and Stukov. And then in the case of Aldaris, I've got, like, just an array of lines that you can choose from, or you can have them all, whatever you want. The process of doing that is just adding or replacing existing sound files that you're not using. So say you're not using Duran in your campaign or your mod or whatever, you can replace his lines with whatever your new ones are in the MPQ. So it's just like replacing a unit in unit stat, or replacing a portrait or anything like that. It's the same process. And the Wikidot does explain how to go there and replace existing sound files. So it's not impossible to learn that just from that guide. If you're trying to change an icon, it's really not that difficult. You just want to extract the icon from the MPQ, or get your hands on the icon GRP from there. And I'm trying to remember where exactly I put my MPQ rip. Here it is. So you would go into the CMD BTNS folder, command buttons. You'd find command icons.grp. And then, as you can see, like, these are all the icons, right? So I think Aldaris is like 87 or something. Yeah, so 87 is the blank icon. I think his wireframe might also be blank. I don't remember. But basically, you just need to replace this entry with the Templar icon, which I don't know off the top of my head. I assume it's, like, nearby, though. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, so you would just take 79, export it, delete this frame, import it, that sort of thing. So it takes a little bit of getting used to the way that Starcraft's files are laid out, but once you do, it's not massively difficult to figure out what needs to be changed and replaced. 5 minutes on Reddit, and I already want to off myself. Owned. Yeah, I think they call that the destruction of a man, dude. Better watch out. Hey, no worries. If you are looking for more assistance when I'm not on stream, you can always join the Discord server. We have a channel dedicated to helping people learn modding. And there's a lot of, like, what I describe as trivia, things that aren't really going to make you a better modder or developer, but you have to learn if you want to work within StarCraft. That's what we can help with, because we have just worked with it for long enough. Human centipede of autism. That's my kind of guy, okay? What can I say? No problem, Executumber. Dog. So I'm kind of wondering where I want to go from here. I definitely want to work in more grass. And obviously I still want to have a... I want to have some expansion over here as well, but I got to figure out exactly how I want to implement that. You know what I was actually thinking is cheekily getting around my current limitation of not having the structure ramps, structure on structure ramps added, even though I have them because I use them in Badlands. I just haven't added them yet. And I was thinking of getting around this by putting together, like, basically creating, like, grass around this area and then using the grass ramps, because I have those. So that wouldn't take very long at all to implement, right? I would just slap together, like, a ramp here, for example. And then a ramp here. And then obviously I just need to fill in what's left. And I think this could be a way to sidestep that current limitation. Now, normally I would just make the tiles, but trying to be a little, trying to tighten the belt now that we have limited dogs and tiles. Let me figure out exactly how wide I'm going to need to cast my net, and then I will do the casting. This also has the added benefit of working pretty well in my favor overall for it feels a bit more natural, excuse me, to have the expansions in these like sunken in areas, be it through the like it being paved over or whatever. I think that works out quite well. What screenshot were you talking about? Oh wait, we're doing this and that. Oh, I see what you've got here. It looks like you're kind of mimicking the style of only having one entrance and it being through the natural that a lot of Brood War melee maps have classically, which I haven't really explored myself at all or considered very much at all. There's nothing massively wrong with it for players. I mean, you don't have a massive amount of space there. The problem is that with AI players, any AI, well, I guess including Zerg in the late game when they start spamming out defenses, basically that space will be gobbled up in like a heartbeat by any AI that's building a lot of expansion structures for like production if they have a lot of money or tech or whatever. So I don't know about the practicality of it when you're using the Cosmonarchy AI, and I'm not sure that players would have sufficient tools either. But there's nothing wrong with having smaller bases. It's just that the AI is really stupid with them, so I don't use them too frequently myself. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. And obviously, you don't need to like balance your map around the deficiencies of the AI. Simply something that I would advise you about, so that you know, like, you're not surprised if it ends up happening that way. The other thing I was thinking of is blending dirt with this. I think it would make a lot of sense. Obviously, it would have to be high dirt for this height level. I wasn't going to say nothing, Belethal, but I thought it was funny that you forgot the name of your own map. Just saying. It depends on your map size and also what tile you're using. I had a similar problem crop up at me earlier when I was mucking about with some stuff. Yeah. It's just more apparent depending on what you're actually using. Like, it's really bad with ice. Shit's always off center with that tile. Not sure why exactly. Probably because it's like one of those weird ones where it's actually, I think it's 2 on either side instead of 3 and 2. So you get that weird off center shit going on. I don't know. Doesn't look as good when they're like that. I would hazard a guess. Still figuring out what I'm doing with this area, but I think we're shaping it up. I think it'll have to be extended out here. Good thing about Badlands is that it's got plenty of space compared to this, so in terms of the tile set and what's left in it or whatever. Not a bad idea. I'm not really sure what the blue one lights are even meant to be honest. Guess you'd have to ask Lard that question. Say we got a lot done so far. Not really 100% happy with this. I think I'll restructure it so that I can use it as if it were a road. Probably have a ramp here and a ramp here. I think it's coming together, though. All right. Yeah, I pushed some tile set updates for people who wanted to use them for their map crap or for updating their maps or whatever. Don't suppose I'll be able to... Oh, I can squeeze one in there. Who would have guessed? There we go. We got something going on here. I fear what the AI will do with all of this space with no fucking borders or whatever. Very limited guidance, so to speak. Hmm. Looks like I've got the wrong ones here. Everything else seems in order. Yeah, pretty much. Perhaps surprisingly, the bases are not assigned to each other. Like, I expected these two, or maybe these two, to be kind of fucked up. But seems we skated by without any issue, which is pretty nice. I'm kind of surprised, like, these two didn't get botched too, either. But it's a bit more understandable as there's more things there. In fact, I wonder if I... Wow. Impressive. All right. Well, I'll take a BRB and use the bathroom and get some more water. When I come back, I guess we'll be trucking on with some more work. I want to, slap together some stuff over here with the asphalt blends at my disposal. I think I'll fill in some more dirt and maybe some more grass. We'll get a nice last vestigial, like, non-urbanized area over there for an expansion. We'll try to operate upon similar rules where you can come down from the top and circumvent this whole area, just walk around it, and choose to attack into the enemy base. It's a little bit harder over here since there's no barrier and no way to ignore it really, but theoretically you could like come down in between this base and that base if you had the opportunity to. And then over here we'll do kind of the same thing. Will there be a base maybe hugging the wall? You'll be able to walk down in between this base and that base, theoretically. So, yes, it is insane. But eventually, we won't have to deal with that. And that's all I'll say there. BRB. Well, I have returned. Let's take a look. It looks like we might have received a generous donation from the Darkened Mantises. Urban Sorcery. Jesus. The duality of tiles. Looks like Veek was able to make some progress. All right, then. Trying to think if we're going to need blends with anything else. I guess low jungle could work. Okay, so for this to work, we need 8, 16, 32. We need 64 groups minimum, and that's assuming I don't bother with jungle. With jungle, it would be another 48, which would look like 112. So, not much interested in that. I guess, yeah, that should be sufficient, actually. So, oh, and I also need to, why is nothing ever easy? Let's take a second to add these tiles. See where we go from there. We can squeeze one of them in here. What's up, UNS? It's a $5 piece of software called Stardock Groupie. Well, it's called Groupie by Stardock. And it does come reasonably recommended. You'll need to configure it to be not stupid, but easy enough. Sup, Viker? Welcome. Welcome back. Your triumphant return has not gone unnoticed. Yeah, you will probably never win that battle against Microsoft, unfortunately. Well, your return to the chat has not gone unnoticed. How's that for you, Veeker? What the fuck? Lard! Lard! Hold on. I gotta go. Well, I can't zoom in. Never mind. If I zoom in, I'll lose my place. But that's lard. Look at the lard below me. Gee, I wonder why I would ever need to walk there. Fucking imbeciles. Yeah, great idea. Let's walk on the fucking water. Who did this? They literally just gave up. It was like, bring your... I was gonna say kid, but let's be honest. Probably not anybody's child. It's probably just the homeless guy down the street that they let develop the game for a little while. They keep losing features in Visual Studio. Shit, homie. That is insane. Shouldn't be doing that. Who said you could? Huh? Oh, we might have exactly 8 over here. What am I most likely to use? I think by this point it's probably pretty likely that we find space for everything, but I still have to play the mental math percentages game. What am I most likely to use in a given situation? If I can find some space for jungle, I will be a happy boy. Here we go. I did ask 41 billion at some point if he was willing to look into the design of an extender, but alas, no such luck. This can all go. This is deprecated. Looks like I've got a nice amount, healthy amount of space over here. Ugh. Okay. That's because Veek is the one who has updated the program most recently, and thus was it capable of laying claim. That's because he's epic. Now it's time for the long and epic process of adding all of these to this. I'll take these from right, turn them into left. Once I'm through with this laborious process, I'll update the tiles that I do have placed, and we'll be even more functional than we already were. Guess theoretically I could make use of some on the lower ground, but I think it would be confusing with this tile. What DF did say, however, I will leak publicly that this is a placeholder prototype proof of concept of an urban tile set he's going to make from scratch later. Pretty poggin'. We need X405 to finish his work on adding an arbitrary number of tiles, though. Or tile sets, rather. I would like that even if we don't end up having custom tiles created from scratch, because it would give us a good amount of versatility. I was thinking recently I wanted a version of the jungle tile set where the water was like a light red instead of being swamp water or the default color. But obviously I can't really change that currently without changing it for all maps, which may include swamp maps later that I don't want to have light red water. So it's just one example of the things we'd be able to do given the opportunity. I just owned myself, by the way. This is supposed to be 3, not 2. How could I make such a goofy mistake? At least it'll give me the opportunity to fix the error that I made aside from that. He's just gone and made them fucking random. I have to piece together well, I guess these last few can be in any order, but that was really weird. Pretty poggin'. You moved to Twitch just so you could use that one emoji? I can't believe I can't even use the fucking delete key, dude. That is not what I thought was going to happen, but I guess that's fine. All right. Let us went. I know. I'm also impressed that I managed to keep that order. Oh, fuck! I missed one. Did I? What did I do? Oh. I had the right order, but I missed the create button when I selected this. Goofball. I was just about to lean over and suck my own dick, but then I had to make a goofy mistake. I swear it does even, like, react as if I actually clicked on it, too. But then it doesn't. Then it refuses. Okay, now I need grass 2. Streaming rights drama. What the fuck? I missed all that. Unless it was something I didn't miss and just didn't think it mattered enough for me to look into it, but I feel like I probably would have heard about this and remembered it. Two more to go, boys. Then we're homo free. Or free to be homo. Homo free sounds a little Victorian. Homo free sounds like Russia. And we are not Russia. There you go. There's a very kind joke. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm amazed that Twitch hasn't implemented some sort of system that's like that. For YouTube to be the best at anything is pretty sad. Because as their developers can attest to, every single time a UI update rolls around, it's not like they're doing anything. I would like to know what background noise I'm hearing in my own backyard. Something very strange is going on. I'm not sure if it's even being picked up on the mic. But whatever it is very weird. Owned. There we go. Yeah, so I think basically any brown needs to go on desert. And also dark achromatics can't be on desert, I don't think. Dark achromatics might be blacklisted in general, to be honest. But we'll see, I guess. We're getting there, Beaver. Main issue is stuff like this. Doesn't look like it's possible to have any sort of inner tile stuff. Yeah, generally. They aren't much use otherwise. Not really too fond of motorcycles, though. By contrast. Or is it bike contrast? That's Mike, dude. Say hi to Mike. There it is. That is quite the shame. Though it's likely still salvageable. Destroyed. Alright, we'll reinstate that for now and hope that the man himself is capable of smashing the remaining issues a little bit later. It's a good thing I don't have to move my Tiki Man. That would have been the last straw. Tiki Man. Oh. How the fuck do I do this one, boys? I guess I do this. No, I can't do that, as I need that tree. I think I just do that one. TBH. All right, Tiki Man. I have had to move you, but it's okay. It'll be fine. Excellent. It does look much better with these, even though we have those tiling issues on the outer bounds. Shouldn't be that difficult to resolve. Thankfully. Or do you have to resolve, that is? uh, what the fuck? As in Maynard, or what? Wacky. Bizarro world. There we go. We got the roads in after all. I will say I had hoped that it would just all magically work out and I wouldn't have to move stuff around that much, but I'm impressed by how little I've actually had to change. So I will count my blessings. Fuck, I have to move this goddamn tree. Never mind. I hate this. I'll just get rid of the tree, I think it's fine. Move it up. So one obvious concern is that we are getting a bit smaller here. I think we should probably spend some time actually fixing the stability issues at some point. FYI. Just don't burn yourself out on all that. If at all possible. I guess this means this needs to shift up one level, which means we're gonna have to figure out what we're doing about the asphalt marker, which I quite like there, but obviously we gotta revise it to some degree. I'm still trying to wrap my head around all of these different tiles, to be completely honest with you guys. I think one of the issues is I started by thinking of this as a completely different kind of tile, and now it's a little bit more like normal tiles, like mud or something. But I'm still thinking about it, conceptualizing it differently. Yeah. I think that will still work, even though it's a bit odd. We got some loud ass birds today. What the fuck? Oh, I see what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to not mess with the mask. All right then. Cool. Thank you very kindly. Yes, with any luck. Guess I'll muscle through the process of adding these tiles. First. Good news is, I don't need to worry about re-adding them all to the brush palette. And that is very good news. Just need to update the tiles themselves. While I'm at it, I can also re-import the currently cycling pixels. That would be nice. Doesn't really seem correct here. Oh, I see what happened. Not actually sure if those needed the correction or not. Just on the off chance. Didn't notice any differences, but doesn't mean there are none. What map did you test on, Vic? Nice. Last couple times I went on Kakadu, I only got crashes, but it was after already testing on another map, Swamp Rust. So I'm not sure if that has any connection. Guess we could do a test to see if that, if you run a game and then I join your game afterwards, if we still desync, but... The night is but young. We have time for that later. For now, I want to make sure this tile set gets cleaned, added to the EXE. Then we can, I'll shove this off and we'll see where we're going afterwards. I would say that's a pretty reasonable update overall. I know I said initially I was going to work on the mountain area or whatever, but we didn't really have the tiles for it, and I wanted to see where, what that would look like. I also wanted to mess around with these new ones, see where they go. I think overall things look pretty good. One thing I'll do real quick is clean these up, though. Yeah, that does happen, unfortunately. I see you sent me some DMs about your stuff there. I'll take a look at them a bit closer after I'm done with this. I'll be wrapping the stream up in a moment. Well, that would be nice, but I don't know how realistic it is. What's up, Kian? We're using DF's urban tiles. Welcome to the show. Need to change these up a little bit because the offset's got a bit wucked. Hmm. All right. What's up, Thef? A classic. Hey, Heat Death is the name of a map I haven't finished yet. You'll die in that too, don't worry. Thanks kindly for helping us out here with more traditional edge tiles. Definitely completes the overall look, I would say. Pretty good shit. Tiki Man! What the fuck? Why is Tiki Man have a bunch of couple... Like, he's started to grow a mustache or something. I just noticed that. Poor Tiki Man. Yeah, all of those cliff tiles you're putting together, the little blends and stuff, are definitely going to be, as you described them, quite time consuming. When we have the layer system, baby, it's going to be fucking impeccable. You know, the only downside to this midsection that I've just cultivated over the last couple hours is everything looks embarrassingly plain compared to it. But that's okay. It's our centerpiece. And when I get to doing the transitionary areas over here between the mountain top and the structure, it's going to look pretty nice too, I think. But we'll get to that in due time. I'm going to go ahead and close us out here, as it is time for me to pursue my next meal. Take a walk, that sort of stuff. So, shout out to DF for the tiles. Shout out to Veek for doing some testing and feature editing and stuff like that while I was working on my MapCrap map. And shout out to everybody who's participating in this MapCrap and who is continuing to work diligently on your turds that I will then be forced to play live on stream this Friday. Looking forward to seeing you guys then, and I'll be back tomorrow for another MapCrap stream. Till then, smooch me on Discord. I'll catch you guys later.